Wait, Oren, am I? Okay.
Yes.
Hey, everybody. Welcome
It's
to the
been a
Wrap
long
Up
night.
Live. Coming off another loss, this time to the Chicago Bulls. These ones suck because DeMar DeRozan is a guy we all root for. And he was essentially unguardable tonight. The Raptors lost 113 to 99 to the Bulls. Is it 113 or 110? I might have it wrong.
That's right.
Yeah. We got the whole crew today, which is something that's very rare. We've got all four of us, myself, Sahal, Abdi. We've got Kyle Brickman, Oren Weisfeld, Aiden Moss. We're all here. Don Yang is in the background producing. Guys, do you want to quickly get into, I guess, can't really talk about the end of the game there. I mean, it was a competitive one in the first half, and then second half, the Bulls just kind of got away from the Raptors. And from that point on, it almost looked like it was over halfway through the fourth. The Raptors looked like they used up all their fight. The Bulls kept scoring in the last 5 or so seconds of the shot clock, which was really annoying to watch. The dagger almost. I mean, the game was over, but watching DeMar DeRozan fade away from Fred VanVleet on the end one shot, that wasn't fun. And then DeMar was smiling at Fred while he walked to the bench after the timeout. That was great, I guess, if you're a Bulls fan, not so much if you're a Raptors fan. Aiden, I didn't even notice you have a warning on your name. That's cool.
What
did you think about
aggressive
the game?
Wrong too. That's embarrassing.
It's 2 G's. What did you think about the game? The first half. I guess the contrast between both halves and maybe where the Raptors just failed tonight
is actually, to me, is contrast of quarters. The first quarter, they were what the rest of the game was, which is they were kind of lackluster, not focused defensively, not just they're what we see when they get spanked is that they're unengaged and they lack their intensity. And I think Jack talked about it 1,000 times, but clearly the effed up sleeping hours and everything affected them, and this game just not ready to play. And then they tightened up in the second quarter. They locked it down. They held Chicago to 18 points, I think, and it looked like this was going to be a battle, and then they just burned out, which is, I think, not really that surprising when we think about how many games they've played, the back-to-back, Gary gone, Freddie coming in and out. I think it's not really that surprised that we lost this one.
Yeah. I feel like it's all been said on the broadcast too, but it was just the Raptors did not do the things that they need to do to win games. The things that we've talked about all season, they had less steals than the Bulls did. They had the same amount of fast break points. They had same amount of offensive rebounds, which we all know is a big Raptors selling point. Way less free throws, and they shot 18% from three. So you do all those things, you're missing OG and Gary, so your margin of error is tiny. That's how you lose.
Yeah,
6 for 32.
It's impossible to win a game shooting 18.8% from three. And they look physically tired, but even more so, I think they're kind of emotionally tired. I mean, they had that long road trip. They had that one day where they just got absolutely destroyed by LeBron back at home, and now they're out on the road again. The second day of it back-to-back. They're just exhausted. I don't know, that's not much of an excuse, but
yeah, I'll say the broadcast was kind of annoying. Weren't you guys getting annoyed at all the excuses they made? I was like, they're losing.
This was one of those games for me where I was I hate to say this, but I just wasn't feeling Jack tonight. I wasn't with him, man. A lot of the complaints were annoying me. I might be in the minority with this, but guys, the whole Chris Boucher bonjour thing where Jack screams it until his voice cracks is really getting on my nerves. I can't really do this anymore where I listen to this bonjour, and then just holds it for 5 seconds until the voice crack and then just ends it. I can't. I'm a fan of a lot of what Jack does. that is something I want to see just gone. I thought it was cool when Chris Boucher was here when he
Very
first joined the
dangerous,
Raptors,
Don.
but
Very dangerous take right now.
it is, yeah.
Our
You know
French
what?
Canadian fans are gonna come after us.
You know what? I'm with you in that like certain things have to go. One of them being the Sportsnet Now commercial with that guy, and it's like every time it's like the Bulls go on a 12-0 run in the middle of the third, and the Raptors are forced to take a timeout. And the first commercial is like, "Are you tired of streaming your sports illegally?" And it's like your app doesn't even work. Nothing is solved. And that
and
gives
also,
me a connection.
Like that buddy is streaming anything. He's obviously got cable.
I'll say this about Jack though. There's no better duo in NBA broadcasting than Jack and alcoholism.
It's so funny, man.
It's
like,
so good. It's so good. Like every single game, he makes a joke
about Irish whiskey. 6.
Who's cutting out? Me or Aiden?
I think
it
we're
has to be
fine.
Aiden. Well,
So it was Aiden this whole time.
Yeah, I think it's Aiden.
His internet connection is passive aggressive right now.
6
We
packs
couldn't get it
on the
together
bus
tonight.
from Chicago.
This guy's in the Doctor Strange world.
Our internet's
even that
as
big
deep as the Raptors.
I'm not even that big of a Marvel fan, but this guy's in that like that whole like when he
Not
does
in
that
our
thing.
reality.
Yeah. Maybe we should never do these 4 things again. No, I'm joking.
You gotta break us up. We have too much energy.
Yeah, this is like the 2019 Warriors. It's just there's too much talent on one team. It's
There's
like
so
everything's
much
together.
talent. It's
a
crazy.
lot of ego here.
Guys, can
you
we talk
imagine
about
Jack on a 6-pack from on an hour and a half bus ride? Jeez, you think you're tired of Bonjour?
Okay.
It's true.
Okay. This is
But
definitely
if
never
you were
happening
drinking
again.
the 6-pack with him, I think it'd be a great time.
Don,
Yeah.
if you're watching this, which I obviously you're producing, you can never let this happen again with all 4 of us. We can do 3 max. We're never gonna get to the game if this happens again. Okay, guys. If there was one Raptor, you could probably say that you were most proud of today. And there was a couple in this game that had pretty solid games. You're proud of the effort that they showed from start to finish. Who would you guys go with? Because I know for sure. One of them is not Fred VanVleet, despite scoring 19 points. I should say he didn't shoot all that well, 7 for 22. But if there's a couple guys maybe that you want to focus on in terms of who played well, who would those guys be? I guess I'll go with Oren first.
I think Boucher would be my shout out. He was the only guy off the bench who played like real minutes. Like 14 was the second highest. He played 33. And I thought he brought his usual kind of energy off the bench, and he was finishing some really tough baskets where guys were kind of just asking him to go get it, even that one right there. And he was going up really high and soft touches into the basket. So yeah, I think Boucher actually did the thing that he's been doing every night, which is really encouraging. But off the bench, there wasn't like enough other guys. Like Thad had a really bad game. And usually, they don't always start Achua and Birch, but usually it'll be like Achua and Boucher coming off the bench. And this game, you could really feel there wasn't like an energy shift when the bench came into the game like there usually is.
Yeah. Do you guys all agree that Chris Boucher maybe deserves some of the most praise on the Raptors?
Yeah, he's put together 2 good games in a row now. So and frankly, I'm looking at the box score and I'm looking at my notes. I don't have anything else positive to say other than that. I thought Chris Boucher had a great game. So Aiden, go ahead.
I was going to shout out Brooks. I think he played quite well. Like
you know what? I was going to do that too. I thought it was too immature of me.
Too niche.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to find the small wins in a game like this. And really, about this game, like fans can be pissed or whatever, but these games happen. When these games happen against fucking Orlando and Detroit, it's worth getting angry about. But these games are going to happen against good teams once in a blue moon and over the course of the season. So whatever, it's going to happen. So then you look for the minutia, the cool things to be happy about. There's a lot of things to not be happy about. But I think Brooks put in good minutes. He had that nice drive. And I said earlier that once his three starts dropping, it's going to open up for him. And he had a nice drive to the lane. I think we're going to see more of that, hopefully.
Gary Trent Jr. was out of this game. He didn't play. OG's been out for quite a while. I was coming into this game pretty confident. The Bulls haven't been playing all that well as of late. They've been dropping in the standings. If you guys remember, they were actually first in the East at one point this year. Feels like a while ago, but they have dropped down to fifth. And I believe if the Raptors won this game, they would have been only a half game behind them. So this was pretty important. There aren't that many games left in the season. And the Raptors currently sit sixth, I believe. Is it sixth?
They're seventh.
Seventh. One game and Cleveland who lost tonight. This was a big chance. Like Cleveland lost tonight, they had the big opportunity. The Raptors.
Yeah, and you don't want to be there. You don't want to. Everyone's trying to get out of that seventh spot. You do not want anything to do with the play-in, even though the Raptors would likely be favorites at home versus a Brooklyn Nets team without Kyrie. But quickly on this Josh Lewenberg tweet, he said the win tonight, the Raptors would have pulled within a half game, tied the season series with Chicago instead, 2.5 games back, essentially a 3.5 game gap now that the Bulls own the tiebreaker, which is huge. It's a 3-game swing. And then it's the Cavs. Oh my goodness. I went from loving to play the Cavs, and now all of a sudden they are so good. And that will likely, Josh Lewenberg says, decide sixth place on Thursday. What do we think about this whole mesh of standings with the Raptors, the Cavs, and the Bulls? It looks like the fifth place is completely like there's no way the Raptors are getting there now. I'm looking at sixth maybe, and I don't know who's third currently in the East, who the Raptors would potentially match up with. But would you guys? This is a really crazy hypothetical, but would you guys accept being seventh and playing in that play-in if it meant that there is an easier 2-seed matchup in the East?
Well, we're probably not going to know the 2-seed until like the bitter end, so it's not worth really risking playing Brooklyn and then likely Atlanta. So I'm wanting to get out of that 7 seed, especially with like all of the wear and tear we already have. Like, speaking of emotionally exhausted, like I don't want to play 2 play-in games and then go in as a huge underdog against one of the top tier teams. So I'd be focusing all my energy on getting out of that 7 seed.
Yeah,
fair.
Me too. And like what Aiden said earlier about like fans can be mad. Like I think because of the significance of the game in regards to the 5th seed, people are going to be mad because this was a tough loss in that regard. But like you can't really be mad. Like to expect the Raptors on the second night of a back-to-back without Gary, Flynn, OG, the list is kind of getting longer.
Without Fred, honestly.
With Fred lumbering. And then the Bulls are pretty much completely healthy now, other than Lonzo. Like, I didn't expect to win the game. The Raptors, they fought until their legs gave out and they lost. Like, I don't think it's one of those games like this was kind of to be expected. And there's still enough games left for sure to get that 6th seed. So that would be huge. You can't go through the play-in. I can't take that for my nerves.
Can we talk about Fred? I mean, because to me, 7 for 22 tonight, he's jogging back up the court, like kind of like hobbling a little bit. I don't think he should be playing at all. They won in Philadelphia last night without him. They've proven that they can perform pretty well as a team without him. And I just don't understand why they're putting this unnecessary pressure and stress on his body that's already breaking down before a playoff run when they don't necessarily need him to play right now, especially in his current form. Like that, if you were to tell me before the game, if you showed me like a clip of Fred moving around out there and then told me he's going to take like 7 more shots than anyone else on the team, I'd be kind of losing my mind with anger. I don't know what's going on. I don't think he should be out there, frankly, or I don't think he should be as involved if he is out there.
Well, I think we just said it in terms of why he's out there. It's like they really want that 6th seed and they really want to be in a good position, if not to.
You see that little hobble after you made that layup?
That's
that little.
Oh, what's going
Like
on?
he did like a little. Well, we're moving.
Yeah.
We're
He did like a
moving
little.
around.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
He
but
did
the
like that
Raptors,
little, that limp.
they're in a complicated situation because on one hand, they want, obviously, ideally, Fred would be fresh for the playoffs. I think they're less worried about that and more worried about just getting into a playoff series for the experience because, like, there's almost no way Fred is going to, even if you took off the last 10 games, I mean, like, yeah, maybe he could come back, but then in that case, what position are the Raptors then in? They're probably not in seventh even, So I think they're just going to keep playing him, not on back-to-backs, because they really want to squeeze all the juice out of this team and, like, just get to the playoffs. They're not really concerned about making, like, a title run this season.
But
Yeah, I mean,
are
this
we?
quote.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, are we better? And I'll ask you, Aiden, are we better with Fred playing? Like, is Fred a
Yes.
net positive for this team right now?
Yes, he is. I
With the
think
shooting,
we can't,
man.
we can't
3
play
for
him
12.
we can't play him the way he's been playing, which he's trying to do right now, which I don't blame him. But he needs to be a little bit. He needs to be more as like, they played him horns a little bit tonight with as a screener as opposed to the ball handler, like things like that, where his explosiveness isn't going to be like what's going to be tantamount to his like contributions, if you know what I mean. Like it's not going to be him breaking down offenses. It's going to be him like running through sets and being that like release valve more so, and then having the odd drive that he did early on in the game. I think he kind of slowed down as the game progressed. Like early on, he seemed to have like a little bit more bounce to his game, and he was getting into the lane a little like more easily. So, I mean, maybe that was just me being hopeful, but it looked like he deteriorated over the course of the game. And going to this quote, like it just kind of seems like his knee is going to be what his knee is, right? So it's like there's no resting him and hoping that he's going to get better. I think this is probably like, I don't know, like something to do with cartilage or something that you either zap it at the end of the season.
I think, yeah, he's gonna have to clean up his knee or something like
Yeah.
that at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Guys, in his last 7 games dating back all the way to February 26th versus Atlanta, Fred has been awful from 3-point land. And if you guys have ever had knee injuries and tried to play basketball, you're not getting the lift that you want to get, whether it's a sprained knee, whatever it is. Fred in versus Chicago tonight was 3 for 12. LA was 2 for 9. The Clippers 3 for 9. LA's first game 2 for 12, 2 for 8, 3 for 8, 5 for 14. Even before that, 2 for 7. Like he hasn't been shooting the three well for a while. And Kyle has a good point. I don't know if it's best to sit Fred for 3-4 games or whatever it is, and then just bring him back 37, 40 minutes and he shoots awful. I mean, it seems like that's what keeps happening with Fred. And I'm kind of afraid, guys, we're in the point now where it's almost like, do you play Fred 40 minutes like you did tonight and just suffer with his shooting a little bit? I mean, Fred does bring other great things to the floor. Because at this point, I'm starting to think that we're going to see a Kyle Lowry situation in the playoffs where you get a very, very tired guard who can't do the things that he's normally accustomed to doing. And I don't know. I think that might hurt the Raptors, but it's like, what other choice do you have if you're Nick Nurse? Do you do what Oren did and maybe do what Oren says and maybe just like rest him a little more in the second halves or whatever it is? I'm not sure. But this injury management thing has been a difficult thing for the Raptors to kind of circle around this year.
They don't have any other options. That's the problem. Like right? Flynn is out. They have no shooting. Even Fred being out there, even if he's not knocking down his shots, he's spacing the floor quite a bit. And with Trent out, especially, like they need him. Like there's really no like alternative unless you're just saying like we're not going to really try to win these games that much. So like I don't think that's a terrible idea to rest him 3 or 4 games and see if he feels significantly better. But I would rather them just make the push that they're making. And then if in the playoffs he is that guy that we're kind of talking about and he's really like slow, then delegate more of the offense towards Siakam and Scotty and the like. But right now, as long as he is doing at least what he's doing, which isn't like terrible, I don't think, he's still a net positive for me for sure. Like he had 9 assists, 2 steals, 6 rebounds. 19 points today. It's not like we're talking about like a scrub.
No,
Right.
no, but I guess my point is that they won a big game last night without him, and maybe it's different tonight because no Gary, and then like they need the spacing more because of no Gary, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the quote that we were looking at, where it was like, "Well, sitting doesn't do anything for me." You kind of have to take those with a grain of salt. Like if he wants to play, he's not going to be like, "Man, I probably need a rest to fix my knee." Like he's not going to. Of course, he's not going to say that. He's a player. He wants to play the game, and he's deciding to play the game. So I don't know. It's hard for me to believe when you see a guy who's physically looks like that. It's hard for me to believe that rest wouldn't help him. But again, I'm no doctor.
Do you think, Kyle, it's of course, I'm not trying to make it seem like we're blaming everything on Fred, but do you think Fred coming in after his injury management, shooting 22 shots, is kind of messing with the rhythm that Precious and Scotty had going the last couple of weeks? Do you think that, because 3 for 9 for both Precious and Scotty is something we're not necessarily used to? I'm not ready to say Precious is intimidated by Fred or go that far or anything like that, but I think we're at a point where maybe you play Fred 25 to 30, like you cap him at 30 minutes. The problem is, if you do that, like Oren said, who do you have? Like who are you bringing in confidently off the bench and saying we're gonna hand these, this extra amount of minutes to Malachi? I don't know.
Here's what I'll say. I thought that Scotty did a great job playmaking tonight, especially those little high-low feeds into the post, guys who are like sealed from transition opportunities, whatever. And I'm fine with Fred taking 22 shots if those are like 22 open corner threes or off of like screens or like second side little action, stuff like that. What frustrates me is like when they sort of default to like, okay, their first action gets blown up, there's 9 seconds left in the shot clock, like get the ball to Freddie at the top of the key or at the wing and let him create something at the end of the shot clock. It's like he's not fit enough to do that right now.
I didn't like that
sort of like late shot clock stuff.
I didn't like when he did that when he was healthy.
Yeah, no, don't get me started. But I mean, like, it's especially right now.
Yeah, for sure. Now we are, I believe this is the usage chart we're looking at, plus minus.
It's the advanced analytic chart for the real ones out there, the real go-getters.
I gotta really like look at
this. Is what Batman
to, like,
uses. This is how Batman evaluates.
Yeah, this is
on the case.
This is so cool.
Let's finish talking about this game. Like
this game was draining. And I'm sorry, guys, if it seems like we're out of energy or whatever it is. But first of all, it's a back-to-back, and I believe Oren, Adon, and Kyle were here yesterday for the show. And then today is just like a really bad loss after a very good win yesterday versus Philly. So I'm sorry if we're a little out of energy, but I mean, it is what it is. It's a bad loss that I think a lot of us were confident going into, Raptors fans. When you beat Philly, a full strength Philly, you're going into Chicago, who doesn't have one of their best players in Lonzo Ball. Again, like Oren said, they're basically fully healthy if you just take Lonzo. I think Patrick Williams was on like a minute restriction or something like that. But you're facing a pretty good Chicago Bulls team, and like the Raptors just looked gassed in the second half. Not a crazy loss. Like we're not like, oh my God, the sky is falling, considering the circumstances of this being the end of a back-to-back. But I mean, it does hurt a bit. It does hurt a little bit. Oren, did you want to mention something?
Not really.
I do have a question to ask. I mean,
I do too.
See a lot of people in the comments. No, I'm going to ask you, Aiden. I see a lot of people in the comments, and Aiden, you saying free Utah, but like, who is Utah playing over Thad? I guess, right? I think he was, to me. I'm just looking at the box score again. Like, he's probably the person who played the most minutes that didn't necessarily deserve them tonight. So, like, again, I mean, in retrospect, like moving down that much in the draft for a guy who like we can't even really play right now when the team's injured, like it kind of ugly,
Is this about Utah or is this about Thad?
I think. Well, okay, no, fine. I mean, who would you like to see Utah play over then?
I mean, this kind of ties into one of the other things I want to talk about, which is how like Nurse is playing these lineups. I would have potentially started Utah over Birch, or started Utah over Precious and have Precious come off the bench with Boucher because, like Oren said, we lacked that punch. And I've been saying that I think we need to be like, I think Nurse needs to be experimenting with the starting lineups a little bit more than he has been, and that doesn't mean just going like double center like he has been. I feel like we should try to get smaller at times, especially with like the way Scotty's been playing and Precious been playing. But yeah, I think I would eat into Birch's minutes, and I think I would be eating into Thad's minutes. You could eat into Brooks's minutes. Like I even Boucher, like he played 33 minutes. You could, if you like take that down to like 28 minutes, that's 6 for you to at least go out there. He was out there for 2 minutes, and he had a block of the game once again. He had a take down the middle, like in traffic. I just think like he brings an energy and like a defense and a shooting that we desperately need. Why are we not trialing him a little bit more? We trialed Svi a bazillion times before we sat him forever, like
we've given him so many opportunities, comparatively to Svi comparatively to Utah, and I don't understand it. I still don't get it. We're gonna be like this like Team Utah thing all the way to the bitter end, which I absolutely love. Even in the playoffs, I really don't care. I know Utah's probably not going to see playoff minutes. I mean, considering he can't, 4 minutes in I'd say a pretty important Bulls matchup. But I'm going to be right there with you, Aiden, till the end. Utah needs more minutes. I would have loved to see Utah start, but at the same time, it's almost like Nick Nurse saw this starting lineup, play really well yesterday, so he's probably like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, and let me just go with the same guys. Chris Boucher's off the bench, Thad, and then I'm assuming he's been liking what he's been seeing from Armani Brooks, because to get like a consistent 8+ minutes off the bench for the Raptors is an accomplishment. Like you should be really proud of that. So shout out to Armani Brooks. And by the way, Don, I still haven't forgave you for taking that Armani exchange. Was it you or Chris? One of you guys tweeted the Armani exchange thing.
I think it was Chris last night.
And I want my copyright little, I want my due.
Yeah, guys, like I get the Utah talk, and D-Ned, he by the way, Aiden's social security number, D-Ned, is 522. No, I'm just joking. But he likes you. But I feel like we don't need to do this. I feel like we don't need to do this like Nick Nurse rotation minutes thing every loss, because we were just here yesterday being like, so smart. The offensive rebounding is working great. All these bigs are like, you know what I mean? It's like, I get it.
Urgent Precious last night, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
But it's different though, Oren. It's different because this is the end of a back-to-back. So it's like, this is where you want to play these end of the rotation guys and just see what you have. Like, your team's gonna gas out. These top 6-7 guys are gonna gas out.
That's fair.
In the second half, right? Like, you want to see. Okay, yes, that starting lineup worked against the 76ers last night. So let's try Utah starting today. And if he doesn't, play well in his first 6 minutes, okay, don't play him again. I mean, it is what it is,
That's fair, but also the Raptors were in this game up until a run that the Bulls went on in the late third quarter. So it's not like the rotation wasn't working for the most part. And then, like, are you going to all of a sudden introduce new players after you're at the like start of the fourth quarter?
No, but I feel like that's what foresight is, right? It's like Sahal saying, is like, we're going to burn out. Okay, let's start the rotations earlier, or let's start playing these guys earlier in the season so that when they do need to go in, suddenly they're like a little bit more prepared. I think there's plenty of games where we could have afforded having some of the bench guys get a little bit more minutes. Instead, he's just been yanking and pulling strings, and I don't know.
And I've been on the same wave with Utah. I've been arguing for the same thing. I just feel like, like it's tired. Like we've tried to make the argument. It's not happening.
I know.
I just think also like it's too far to me to say like play Utah, like eat into Boucher's minutes. Boucher had the best game of any Raptor tonight. Like what? Okay, make Utah the coach. Transfer ownership of the team to Utah. What are we talking about here? Boucher had like a tremendous game. I don't get it. How could we fault Boucher tonight?
Yeah.
Speaking of Boucher, though.
Yeah, Boucher is the tax man.
I say why not. He's my tax man. Unless you guys want to give it to a Chicago Bull and make everyone angry in the comment sections.
No, you got to have a particularly good game as an opponent to get to that. Man.
I mean, DeRozan was 11 for 14, but
we didn't even talk about Pascal. He had another good night.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, before we do the Can-Am tax, I know Don, we're gonna do it in a sec, but before, you can even leave that Can-Am tax thing up there if you want. But what I will say really quick is Pascal Siakam's game log. He's been playing every game, I believe, since I don't think he's missed a game since the All-Star break, right?
The new year, he hasn't missed a break.
Okay.
A game.
His minute total is crazy since the new year. Like, if you just keep scrolling back, like he is consistently in between 38 and like 44 minutes. And the fact that he's been playing at such a consistent level, look, we praise Pascal Siakam a lot on this live show, but there's no way get night in, night out, and a lot of these have been back-to-backs. Pascal, 40 minutes, 40 minutes, 42 minutes, 42 minutes, 39, 44, 46, 40. Like, there's no way he should be consistently putting up, 23 or 24, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Like, there's just Pascal still, in my opinion, hasn't received his due, maybe from us, but I'm talking just generally. I love Pascal. I love what he's been doing. And it almost kind of worries me in the sense that, like, I don't want to take the pessimistic view of it, but it almost worries me because it's like his minute count has been so high for so long. And we'd be fools to not say Fred's knee issue had to do with maybe overworking him. Like, it's knee soreness. Like, come on, right? So I'm kind of worried that Pascal maybe just a tiny bit drained by the time we get to the playoffs. But again, like, you can't really rest him, right? Like, what's the solution? And the bench is super thin. So I just wanted to quickly say that about Pascal. But Can-Am tax, your taxman of the night has to be Chris Boucher. The man showed an incredible amount of effort all night long. Chris Boucher is the type of guy on your basketball team where his high energy just forces you to play it's contagious. It forces you to play at a higher level. That's what he did. He was living around the net. He made Tristan Thompson look like a slob all night long. A slob, yeah.
I think Sahal just thinks Tristan's a slob generally.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He's slobby.
Yeah. Even though he did have that really good play when he first came into the game.
Boucher had some moments there. I had in my notes. He had 3 shots in a row that were just poor decisions. One of them being that Tristan Thompson block.
Aiden, this is the Can-Am taxman of the night.
Taxman can go positive, negative, man. He can go anywhere you want it to.
I just want to see Boucher have like 5 consecutive good possessions. It's not too much to ask. Boucher string together 5 consecutive good possessions challenge. Maybe
you guys can't slander the taxman.
No, we can't.
Yeah, guys, this isn't part of it. Okay, stop.
Yeah, this is what we agreed on.
Visit canamtax.com, or you can call VJ Verma at 416-243-2912. Can-Am Tax, guys, should be your go-to for your taxes, tax preparation, even questions that you have. Look, if you're not ready to switch over accountants or whatever it is, you can still call VJ Verma, ask him a couple questions. Read the Google reviews. I always tell you guys, read the Google reviews. Sahal does not lie. He does not, right?
Because Sahal has never lied in his life.
I've never, not once. Okay, guys, what are we going to talk about now? Because I want
to present my hot take, which was a nice segue from Pascal Siakam's minutes, which is, are we sure Scotty Barnes is in top shape?
Meaning, like, physically, like, could he be doing more to be in shape?
Yeah, maybe this is like a glass half full thing where, like, somewhere where he can grow is actually being at, like, he could be at peak conditioning, because it seems to me that he does tire out quite often in these games, most often on defense, where he kind of like blows his load too early and like just kind of gasses. Sorry, just came here. And again, like
Why'd
tonight,
you have to
like,
laugh, Oren? Like, why'd you?
Yeah,
why did you have to laugh?
No, you gotta fault the guy who chose
so
that
immature.
phrase. Okay.
Can't make an analogy to ejaculation with a serious face. God,
We need more women on the show.
Aiden, to respond
The Raptors
to what
have to
you
start
said.
winning, man. They can't keep losing. Look at what it's doing to us.
It's not good for the internet. The internet
Losing our minds.
cannot handle this for much
it
longer.
was a lot worse.
Scotty Barnes with Florida State in college, I believe, guys, if you can fact check, but I think he was in the like average of 20 or so minutes played, like in the high 20s to mid 20s to high 20s in terms of minutes played. There's been so much on his plate this year. Like, first of all, the season's longer, right? And then when you look at, like, no rookie is supposed to just come in just 36 minutes every single game. Like, that's crazy. Honestly, I was thinking before I just searched it up, I was thinking Scotty Barnes is around 32 minutes a game, 33 minutes a game. He's at 36. Like, we have a rookie playing 36 minutes per game. You know, sometimes to make myself feel better, guys, I really think that if this team drafted, what's that guy's name? I don't know how I'm forgetting. Suggs. If we drafted Jalen Suggs instead of Scotty Barnes, oh man, this would have been great. Like, you see how we're losing our minds now after a loss like this?
This season would have sucked.
This season would have been terrible. But to answer your question, Aiden, I think it's just him still adjusting. Super long. I mean, he didn't even get a break during All-Star weekend. Like, he just, it's been basketball nonstop for him since training camp. So
yeah, I would definitely look at it at a glass half full thing.
Yeah,
like,
I think he's exhausted.
The longer he's a Raptor, the better his conditioning is going to get. Even like Siakam, he's never been this well conditioned as he is this season. And I think Scotty, like rookies hit a wall, and that's literally what we're talking about. Often it's a fatigue wall. And I've actually been like happy with Scotty in general. He's still playing the minutes because he's still like doing enough.
I'm not saying it's like, oh, Scotty's eating KFC at 2 a.m. in bed.
No,
like,
you're not.
We gotta be worried. I'm just saying that, like, you know, we're talking about sharing minutes amongst other players, and like when a guy is clearly labored, when the fat guy drinking the beer is like sitting on the couch being like, that guy looks tired. It's like, well, then maybe we want to. That would be Q Yuta minutes, you know, or like something like that, and I think we've been talking about this all night. Is that like Nurse pushes his guys and he top loads his rotations, and I think that at times can come back to bite us in the ass, especially like down the stretch of a game.
Yeah. I think it also hurts a lot, you know, in Scotty's case, and really everybody that plays a ton of minutes on this team. It hurts a lot, the fact that they have quite literally probably a bottom 3 bench in the league. I mean, I wouldn't argue with you if you said the Raptors currently have one of the worst benches in the league. Most metrics support that claim. So, I mean, the eye test supports that claim. It's so tough when you like guys struggling in whatever way, fatigue or with his shot, like for Fred tonight, and to just say, you know, like maybe he needs a rest, and maybe he does. But it's like when you look across the bench and you're like, who do I look to, except Utah, of course. You say, who do I look to? It's like there's not much. So it's so hard. I think Scotty next year I really cannot.
We're not doing we're not that type of show.
We're not. I know we're not. But oh my God, Scotty! Whenever I just think of Scotty's future, man, it's just I never in a million years would have thought he would be this good this fast. It's insane to me.
Oh no, yeah, I was saying we're not doing this. We're not calling out players for eating late night.
I saw Scotty eating that Osmos at 1 a.m.
That dude can eat whatever he wants. It's not
exactly.
About food.
Osmos, there's no way.
Though. Osmos guys, you guys like Osmos or no?
Never had it.
No.
Osmos is like
you can get better.
It's like what gross Americans.
Their garlic sauce is mayo.
Yo, and they put so much on it. I literally had like one time I was like offended. I was like, you can't just put that much garlic sauce without asking. But yeah. Okay. I'm tired of talking about the Raptors. Bad game. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I do want to say just real quick.
Pop culture. Yeah.
Like when people talk about like, oh, this player was out till 2 a.m. or he was eating at 1 a.m. You know, they get off work at like midnight, right? Like, I saw him like eating at
5,000 calories in a game.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, no offense to Andy C, No offense to him, but I also just don't believe fans. Like
he
fans
looks,
lie all the
he
time.
looks trustworthy. Oh,
Fuck
Andy.
you.
Andy.
You just called Andy a liar, man.
Okay, guys,
I would have
have a
believed
question.
it though.
Not a player.
I have a
would've
question. Outside of the Raptors, NBA, what's caught your eye recently? Do you guys have any hot takes about other NBA teams? Has anything caught your eye? Anything you want to talk about in the NBA writ large?
Other than all
something.
of your shitty college brackets for March Madness.
Yeah, should we
No,
bring
not
up?
really.
Let's bring up the. Let's take this opportunity because you can only really do this after a loss. I don't want to. It's not worth doing after a win. But if we could bring up the fantasy, sort of like the
Am I still
tournament
first?
bracket.
I actually think I have a perfect bracket so far. So
Well, I mean,
You're
Yeah,
one
let's,
of
you know what? Do you want to talk about the Westbrook stuff or no? We did that already, didn't we?
like against
kinda.
the Raptors,
We touched on it.
Like Bev, like Pat Bev and Cat and stuff like that.
we didn't really talk much about that.
Do we
Yeah.
want to?
I mean, a lot's been happening with Westbrook. He hit the shot. I mean, a random
I
Toronto
was-
guy approached him on the streets. Like, what are we talking about? There's a
Yeah.
ton that happened with that guy.
You know, as like a Westbrook fan, I was kind of happy what happened in Toronto, even though it was like a tough L for us. But like he finally had a good moment this season after just the worst season you could ever imagine for him going to his hometown, just having the worst season. And like he finally had the moment. It came against the Raptors, and that obviously sucked. But I was happy for him, which was part of the reason I wasn't so mad. And I'll also say this about the Lakers who won tonight. Like I thought they figured out some stuff against the Raptors. And again, it sucks that they figured it out against us, but I thought like that lineup they played at the end with like Wendon Gabriel, Avery Bradley, and the other white guy from Arkansas, and Malik Monk,
Oklahoma.
LeBron. Yeah. Like that had enough defending and enough shooting that it actually like made some sense. So yeah.
Shout out to Wendon Gabriel.
What I wanted to say is, have we thought about the? Yeah, no, bring it up. So okay, that's a terrible way of looking at it, but I'll point out that I'm solidly number 2 in our wrap up live bracket. Aiden, not even on the screen. Okay, no, he's jumped up to 4th.
I just want you to know I put real money on other brackets. Yours was like a throwaway of just in case I get everything else wrong.
It was inconsequential. I'm
Who
not
you
going to
guys-
throw
who
away
you
that
guys
$10
feeling
I
now?
get from you, Aiden. No, I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to
If
spend
you
it on
guys-
Osmos. I'm going to get myself a plate and some
Ew.
gross mayo.
If you guys could choose any team now, who would you pick though in March Madness?
That's left?
Men's
Arizona.
side, yeah.
Arizona. I think Maturin last night.
No.
I think Maturin. Okay. I think Maturin last night
Let him,
had one of the
guys.
best college games I've ever seen, and I get that I'm biased but I think that he is I think he's the best player in college basketball. Right?
He's him.
I think he's hashtag him.
Yeah.
And by the way, can we get people to? It's not Mathurin. He's French. It's Maturin. Maturin.
I don't think
Yeah,
it's
so-
Maturin either.
No, but it's Maturin.
Benedict
But it's
Maturin.
but at least
It's
try
baguette.
to. Yeah, you wouldn't just let's
No,
try.
spaghetti.
I'm not being like precious Achua, come on.
I'm gonna enunciate every single. Yeah, you know why Arizona won't win, Kyle? I'll tell you why. If you saw the way they celebrated and how arrogant they looked after,
I like that.
I
They
know.
got
I
swag.
I like
They got
it. No,
swag.
don't get me wrong. I love it. I actually love it. And the fact that their best player is Canadian, I love it. But in college basketball, the teams that look almost demonic after they win, have you guys seen Gonzaga after they win? There is no emotion. These guys are blowing out teams. I don't think they blew out the last team they played. I think it was, who was it?
No, Memphis
It was Memphis. Yeah, it was tight. They blew out the 16 seed, as they should, right? But I'm sorry, guys. And Duke looks good too. Duke looks really good too. They beat a pretty good Michigan State team. But I am excited for Gonzaga, Arkansas. I am very excited for that. Gonzaga is my selection. Shout out to Josh really quick. He says Zags. Yep, I'm not a Zags fan, but I did choose them to win. So
It's
this
funny,
is, by the way, I pick Duke every year, so I just want to change things up this year. So
Ooh, this dunk though.
That is so nasty.
Yeah.
People were saying in the Gonzaga game, refs rigged it for Gonzaga. It's like it's like a small religious college in Eastern Washington. Like, I don't think they're ranking it for Gonzaga. What are we talking about here? It's not like it's Kentucky or something. It's like a tiny little college.
The refs have been fairly bad in these games. There's been a lot of tough calls.
They suck. And this is the best PR. I feel like every there's like a 3-week period every March Madness where like the NBA refs are like having the best PR moment of their entire year. It's like, we didn't do a good job. I don't know. Did you watch any of the March Madness games this weekend? Yeah. There's a mistake every like 5 seconds. So.
Glaring.
I would pick Gonzaga too. That was my pick. And it's another Canadian, Andrew Nembhard, because even though he's not like a star, he's not doing the things Maturin's doing.
He had like 25.
You need a point guard in the NCAA who can handle traps and set guys up and defend at the point of attack. And he does all those things really, really well. And then add in Chet, who I think like is a great rim protector. And he hasn't had the best offensive tournament yet, but I think like there's going to be a game where he really like explodes. And then obviously Drew, you got Drew in the post making magic happen, baby.
So
he's not 21 years old. There's no way he's 21 years old. He's 32. Yeah, there's just
they say
a goatee like that.
He's a senior. How is he 21?
Apparently he's 21. I googled it I think a couple days ago because I couldn't believe it when my friend told me.
So can we talk Chet? I mean, how are we feeling about Chet here? I know how I'm feeling, but I'll save that until I get. Is there anyone here who's like Chet is my surefire number one pick in the draft? I wouldn't take anyone over him. He's the guy.
Oh, Drew Timmy's a junior. Sorry,
Chet.
Chet's not a number one, but the thing is that what like Chet can be many more things than like I don't know. He's getting comped to like Pokuševski. Like this guy can. I don't know why Chet's getting harshed on for being so skinny when like Evan Mobley is also like a buck.
It's 10. A different level.
Like
it's a different level. Though. It's a different level if you look at them physically. Chet is like those arms are like are sticks. I mean Mobley's got at least some muscle definition.
Come on, give him a couple hungry mans, a couple,
He's got to get on the Scotty Barnes. He's got to get on Scotty Barnes.
Osmos will fatten him up in like 2 weeks.
Give him one plate
and then kill
Osmos.
him in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
that's it. Cool story, guys. I think as a few years ago, the OVO Bounce tournament, I believe, was happening at I forgot what U of T's building is called. It's like something ring, gold ring or something.
Gold ring.
Is it gold ring?
Yeah.
It was happening there, and I was watching Andrew Nembhard's brother, Ryan Nembhard, and at that point, I think he was like 16 or something like that. And everybody in that tournament was pros. Like so many Canadians were there. Oren, what's that guy's? This is really bad. I should know all these Canadian basketball players, but Kaza Keen, could I forgot his full name, but
yeah,
he was there. A bunch of Canadian ballers were there. Drake obviously was there with his crew, but Ryan Nembhard as a 16-year-old, oh my god, I think he's in Creighton right now.
Yeah, he's injured.
That kid is special. When I was watching him, I was like, this kid is going one-on-one with pros. Like we're talking pros all over the EuroLeague. Brandon Jennings was there. I don't know. Brandon Jennings in these OVO bounce like things. I don't know. He's always there. I don't understand.
Wasn't Stanley Johnson there? Or no, it's a different.
Stanley, I don't think was there the day I went, but I believe the next day he showed up, he dropped like a crazy amount of points, as he usually does. But I just wanted to point that out. Ryan Nembhard is special. He's so good.
Whose draft guide is this? Because they got
like NBAmock.net. So Chet, I get that Evan Mobley is skinny. Chet looks like emaciated. Chet looks like he's like no, but seriously, Chet looks like he's like on the verge of death. So I mean, even his face. I'm not even in a rude way. That's his build, but he's not comparably skinny to.
He's just a Slim Reaper. That's who he is.
He's thin.
I'm all over. I'm Chet though. I'm pro Chet. I would take him first. Not like in a great draft, maybe not, but in this draft, I would take him first. And
let me just say this: he's even in college getting like put into the basket by bigger guys on post ups. His timing in his shot contests doesn't seem to be that good. I get that he's a good shot blocker, but his timing isn't necessarily there, which tells me a lot of his shot blocking ability is like him relying on his athleticism, like his bounce in his arms, which, that doesn't necessarily always translate to the NBA. I think on offense, it's nice that he's not just like standing in a corner, he's moving around. But the other thing is I'm not 100% there with his shooting. The volume isn't super high, and I don't know if he's going to be able to translate to the next level because he doesn't project to me as someone who's ever going to have off the dribble stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of, I get there.
When I look at all the top prospects of this upcoming draft, I see a lot of, I don't know about you guys, because I haven't done a ton of like draft work. I'm not like a draft expert or anything like that, clearly. But I see a lot of like low floor, high ceiling guys, a lot. And the only guy that I think has a high floor that I'm looking at on this list is probably Paolo Banchero. Like, for me, he's the only guy that I can say like he is going to come into the NBA. He might not be like an all-star or anything like that, but I think he's going to stick for quite a while. You can just tell by his skill set when you watch him. He already looks like he's built. Apparently, according to this website, he's 6'10", 250 already. Shaden Sharp, Harris, all these guys. We'll see.
Tobias Harris is a good comp for Paulo. I think that was Kyle.
I've seen that before.
That was me. But I use that. Let that be known. I did that derogatory.
But I know you did. But I was gonna say I think that's his floor. His floor is a 6'10" version of Tobias Harris, so that's already significantly better than Tobias Harris. Mm-hmm. And I think that's his floor. So yeah, like Paulo's really, really good. Like, don't get me wrong. But okay, Chet, I feel like he'll do like similar things that Mobley does in terms of he'll play the 4 in his first few years beside another center who can kind of take like, yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know if he's quick enough at the perimeter to play the 3, but maybe. But like beside a center who can take like the post bigs, he'll, on defense, he is a really good rim protector. Like he blocks a ton of shots at the college level. Yeah. And I think offensively, he's just going to do smart things. He moves the ball well. He's a good playmaker. He can space the floor for you. And he's done enough off the dribble where it's like, I would take the risk on a 7-footer who can already do a little bit off the dribble and hope that he can continue to do more off the dribble. Cause it's fluid. Like when Chet has he pull up, it's fluid for a guy his size. So I'm all over it.
What I will say also, like pro Chet, he can't, like a lot of good teams, a lot of good defenses are moving their shot blockers off of bigs. Like the Celtics did it with Robert Williams. The Cavs kind of do it with Evan Mobley. Like might be where the NBA is going. Maybe you don't need your best rim protector to be guarding a role man. Maybe you need him on a corner guy who can't shoot. So if that's the case, say for example, whoever Chet plays for is like playing the Sixers, he's not going to be on Embiid. He's going to be on Maxey in the corner. Or sorry, not Maxey. He's going to be on Thibault in the corner. It's the second consecutive night I made that mistake. And he'll just help everything. So, maybe he can survive on defense.
Jaden Ivey is like
I love Jaden Ivey.
The prince of like basketball Twitter. Yeah, everyone like loves Jaden Ivey.
I watch a ton of him. I also love Jaden Ivey. He's fun, man.
Yeah, he seems very fun. I haven't watched a lot of Adrian Griffin Jr., who, yes, is the son of Raptors assistant coach Adrian Griffin. I haven't watched a lot of him at Duke, but he is projected to go pretty highly. Again, I'm getting a lot of like low floor, high ceiling vibes from these guys. He's super young, so I don't know. With this draft, it's going to be very. I don't know who's going to pan out and who's not. I'm just putting my chips in for Paolo Banchero turning into like at the very minimum a good role player in the NBA. I think. At the very minimum.
Yeah, but sort of.
Can I give my pick for the college?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Sorry,
I didn't get to yet.
Sorry.
Okay, I have in my
there's the passive aggressive side. No,
I was going to say.
This I'm forewarned
you. There's no way I'm doing that. No.
I have in my legit bracket Villanova in the final.
Nice.
And it's for the reason you talked about, which is that like you need a real point guard, and Villanova always has that point guard that can just like take over a game, both scoring and tempo. And Gillespie's that guy. They got Samuels off the wing. They got a big like. I feel it, and like Villanova is always sneaking their way into these like Final Fours. So
yeah,
they're
really in my finals for another bracket. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
I don't
can't
know
just
why.
pick 8 brackets and say, yeah,
Yeah,
one
it's-
of my
yeah,
brackets.
that's what I was
have
gonna
that.
say.
Okay, I
It's-
have
that's
2
just pretty
brackets.
convenient
to
Everybody
be like,
relax.
That's my real
oh,
one.
actually, my other bracket is perfect. I haven't made a wrong pick yet. I actually picked every upset in my other. The one in the RR group, that one's all screwed up. I'll admit it. But my other bracket, I'm actually the best in the entire world. So but I can't show you guys.
No, I'm losing horribly, but I'm just saying that I feel good about Villanova.
Yeah, just like me. I'm at the top of this, and then I'm at the bottom of my bunch of my other friends. I'm doing 2 brackets. I'm at the complete bottom. I have I think I have Gonzaga beating Villanova in the final. But yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I used to do brackets in such a boring way before. It was like, I really think this team's gonna win and this team's gonna win. It's like you might as well just pick anyone you want. Pick a 16 seed. Who cares? Like, you're not gonna get a perfect bracket anyways.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it. It's like it's impossible to be happy.
No, but
when
it's
you do
fun
it.
because then you start
To be
cheering for
happy.
teams, right? Like
No, I was actually gonna do it. I just forgot and passed the deadline. But
I sweated out those games because I'm like, I have Chattanooga in the Sweet 16, and it's just like it makes it so much more fun.
yeah, that's why I like betting. So fair
Same.
enough.
The someone in the chat said, "Oh, where are the who are the Raptors picking?" I'm just looking at the kind of combo mock. Raptors at 32 are taking Jamari Booyah out of
Booyah, yeah.
Oh,
Booyah!
he played real well.
No,
He
no,
did
the
in his
Raptors are
last game,
taking
right?
an Egyptian man you've never heard of in your life. That's my prediction. They traded
Mohamed
back because they were
Salah.
like, we got a guy.
Taking
None of these
Mohamed
guys
Salah.
now. Okay, guys, I got a
We
non-basketball
gotta get outta
related
here.
question real quick before we go though. Have you guys all seen Spider-Man?
No, don't
No.
ruin
Like the
it.
most recent Spider-Man.
Oh, well then this.
I haven't
doesn't work.
seen
This
I haven't
does
seen
not work.
Spider-Man.
seen
I
it.
haven't
I've
seen
seen it. I've seen it.
Batman.
I've seen
I'm a bit
both,
behind.
and
I've also seen
like
both.
I
Maybe
feel
save
like
us for like 2 weeks, Oren.
I just feel like Spider-Man, like I saw a different version than the movie everyone else did because people really fucking loved that movie, and I'm like, I don't see it. But
I feel the same way about Batman.
okay.
I think
I
both
think
were
Wait, so
pretty.
you-
people are
so you watched
way
Batman?
overrating this Batman movie. It's good, but it's
Do you guys
not
want to hear
like-
my Bane impression? I have a pretty good Bane
Yeah,
impression.
let's
Okay.
lay it on us. Let's
Oh
see.
my god, here we go.
Doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan. Nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask.
Oh man, I should have run the end credits right before you did.
How was
That
that?
would have been the best bit of all time.
It needed to get a little bit more deeper and indistinct.
Oh
I
yeah,
do
but rate
think-
it out of 10.
Like that kind of.
Full
Okay, well
word.
none of you guys are gonna do. None of you guys are doing your own, so I win by default.
Okay, schedule and let's
Yeah, let's
get
tee up the Cavs
GTFO.
game. All right, moving on from that. Moving on from that.
I'm
Yeah,
shocked we
bro.
didn't lose any viewers. Why are the viewers
We
still
lost.
in
We
here?
lost the Hal though, and
Yeah,
that's
we
really
lost it. We
disappointing.
lost a contributor.
You know what, Brian? You're fucking right. I do have a nice voice.
It has
Yeah.
that like crackle.
It has that Bane pop. You know what I mean? It has that Bane deep.
Is he done yet?
He's done. He's done. He's
It's
been
very
You'd think
thin.
now he's just gloating.
Okay. Sorry guys, I'm back.
Okay, Cleveland, Indiana, Boston. There's some nice time. Like there's some time in between games here. You can finally rest a little bit.
What
even
What
though
are
it's
the
all on
keys
road.
to the Cavs game though? Like that's
Oh, no,
the
it's-
one that's going to determine the 6th seed realistically. That's the big one. So what are the keys to beating Cleveland?
Do you want me to give you like the like sports set broadcast keys of the game? Like be
Yeah.
aggressive.
Shoot the
Try
ball
hard.
well.
Shoot your shots. Who do you want?
Run hard.
And even if you didn't go home with a win, you tried, and that's really
You
what's important.
try. No, to me, I think that they're gonna need to contain the dribble penetration from the guards. Like Garland completely destroyed them in both games, or at least in the first game there. And
Did the Cavs have Levert
and
last
they
time?
just flow. They didn't have Levert. They just flow.
Okay, so
Everything
no.
flows through Garland with that team. And I'm not sure if Allen is out, right, for the 24th. I think
He's
out
coming
long
back
term,
soon
right?
though.
He should be.
Yeah, so I kind of like the Raptors' chances without Allen because he was just wrecking everything prior to his injury in the previous game, and I think controlling the dribble penetration and then getting downhill on offense, getting downhill and just like really getting into Mobley and seeing how great of a shot blocker he really is.
Put Garland and Lauri Markkanen in as many pick and rolls as you possibly can and just jam it down their throats.
Make them pay for playing Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah.
Yeah, or alternatively post ups, especially for Garland. Just as long as you're making him work, like that's more so the Raptors style.
Have we ever seen a Fred VanVleet post up position in the NBA? I just thought of that. Has that ever happened? A Fred VanVleet.
That'll be second part of his career.
It's like sort of a Mark Jackson, guard post up game. I like that.
Yeah, no, I agree though. They should just send extra help at Garland. He's the guy that's killed them both games. Like I'll take my chances with LeVert and Dean Wade and Kevin Love even,
Dean Wade tore his meniscus.
Oh wow. That's unfortunate
Partial.
for them.
Partial tear.
But
Wait, guys.
but you can't you gotta treat Garland like he's James Harden, basically.
Is RJ Nembhard on the Cavs related to the rest of them?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I remember wondering the same. He's American, so no.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's weird that there's like 3 basketball guys with the last name Nembhard. I've never heard that name ever.
Also played for Texas Christian University.
Oh wow.
Thursday is going to be fun because the Canadians are playing the Costa Ricans, and they may clinch the World Cup on Thursday night. So that's
is that in Canada?
Well.
That one?
That one's in Costa Rica, and then the next
Ooh.
game's in Toronto, BMO Field for I think it's Jamaica, I believe. So, but they can clinch it on Thursday night. So if you don't even have to be a Canada soccer fan. If you are Canadian, it's going to be a big night. We may clinch the World Cup. So even if the Raptors don't pull through, guys, and you catch me in a good mood,
What time?
You're not even going to watch the Raptors game. You're going to watch the soccer game.
So the Raptors game's at 7:30. The soccer game, I think, because it's in Costa Rica, is late. So it says 10:05 p.m. on the score. So.
Oh, nice. That's perfect.
So it's nice.
Okay, let's answer Phoenix's question because he's a faithful viewer, and then let's get out of here.
Boston, easy for me. Easy money.
Yeah,
Money.
I think Giannis is just too goddamn terrifying now.
Yeah.
To me,
Drew
these are the 2 best teams in the NBA.
I think that's fair. But I'll take the team that isn't as experienced to the team that just won an NBA championship.
I would agree. That was exactly what I was going to say next.
Boston just blew out Denver. Wow.
Boston's
Wow.
Okay, who's your pick, Sal?
It's clearly Boston. There's no way I want to run into Giannis.
Like,
I don't understand the Milwaukee stuff.
I'd still rather play Boston over Miami.
I'm taking
Miami.
I'd
take Boston. I'll take.
I take Miami. You guys are sleeping. I mean, Boston is.
I don't know.
Boston is fucking rolling right now.
That's a
It doesn't
tough
matter.
one.
It's just like Boston has to prove themselves still. It's like they don't have that like veteran confidence that I think Miami is going to present. I think we can just get in Tatum's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get OG back. We get at least like a 65% Fred. Gary's back. I think. I
my answer
watch
is
a Miami
that
series.
My answer is that is both these teams beat the Raptors. So it's like I don't know exactly what we're arguing here, but if I had to pick, like, who do the Raptors have maybe a tiny better chance? I would say Boston.
Let Marcus Smart go 5 for 14.
I'm saying Miami. Tyler Hero got deep fried by Shake Milton tonight. Like, that guy cannot hang on the defensive end at all. They just don't.
True.
I mean,
That's a good point.
I think Jimmy Butler's I think his legs are kind of gone. I don't know.
I think they are a team that is saving themselves for the playoffs. Like Kyle always kind of does that. Jimmy does that. Bam shouldn't have to do that.
Bam's been injured.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been healthy for a while now, but
PJ definitely does the same thing. It's such a veteran team that I'm not too worried about nights like this.
Man, they were talking about.
That being said, I think they lose to both of them.
On the Zach podcast, they were saying like Andre Iguodala literally says that don't play me until the playoffs, like fuck off. And I think a lot of players start to do that as they get older. So
Andre Iguodala is like his bones are like brittle by now. That guy is just. There's no more back-to-backs, guys. I'm looking at the schedule. I believe March has 31 days, so I don't think. Oh, there's the 7th, 8th. Yeah,
that's what Zarar did. Zarar said, "Don't play me until the playoffs." He's coming back on the podcast for the playoffs. Right now, he's saving himself. I think he's in Portugal right now.
All right, I gotta go have dinner. Let's
Yeah, I gotta go.
let's wrap up the wrap up.
I'm gonna go sleep. Okay.
All right, guys.
Crazy.
We appreciate you guys watching tonight. This was it for myself, Sahal Abdi, Oren Weisfeld, Adon Moss, Kyle Brickman.
Come
And
to Gotham because it's not going to be a good time next time you come.
Vengeance.
I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm rolling the end credits.
Subscribe.
This
We
is
gotta
a
get
wrap
to
up.
7,000.
yeah, we appreciate you guys coming off a loss, but we're all happy now. It is what it is. Thank you to Don Yang as well for producing the show. That was it for all of us. We hope you guys have a great night. We'll see you Thursday. Peace.
See ya.